Hey guys, it's Timmy, and this is Pro Wrestling Unlimited as we are here on the 4th of May, 2022. May the 4th be with you. We're going to talk about AEW Dynamite. We're going to talk about Dynamite that was, in my opinion, an alright show. I didn't think it was a great show or anything. I thought it was passable. It was alright. It was a good 2 hours of wrestling, but nothing blew my skirt up. Nothing blew my skirt up watching the show. Nothing made me go, oh crap, you need to go see this. Oh damn, you need to go see this. It's kind of just like, hey, you got 2 hours? Want to put something on in the background? Good 2 hours to watch. Pay attention and see what they did. But in all actuality, I didn't think it was a great show. I thought it was just a good show at best. But with that, we're talking AEW Dynamite. But first, I want to say thank you for joining me here. Twitch.tv/PW Unlimited, YouTube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited, and Twitter.com/PW Unlimited. Remember, if you are watching on Twitch, you can help us out a couple of different ways. You can first help us out by hitting that donate button down below and donating Twitch bits in the live chat. Also, remember, you can help us out by subscribing to the channel one of two different ways. You can either subscribe with a tiered subscription, or you can subscribe with Amazon Prime. Because remember, you could be like Broken King Slender, subscribing with Amazon Prime for 22 months. Or if you say, hey, I already pay Jeff Bezos for Amazon Prime, how can I use that? You can. You take that Amazon Prime account, you take that Twitch account, you link them together, bada bing, bada boom, you're Prime Gaming. Prime Gaming gives you a lot of cool things like free games. Yeah, you heard me right. Prime Gaming gives you free games just like, let's pull these up really fast. Right now, the new free games are Dead Space 2, The Curse of Monkey Island, Shattered, Tale of the Forgotten King, Out of Line, Cat Quest, and Mail Mole Plus Express deliveries. It also gives you stuff for games for free, like Grand Theft Auto Online, Madden 22, Valorant, New World, Fall Guys, and so much more. But the one thing that never changes is that you get one free subscription to any Twitch channel you want to subscribe to throughout the month, and I'd greatly appreciate it if you did that right here, Pro Wrestling Unlimited. Just remember, because they want you to spread that to a different channel each month, if you only want to support one channel, this channel, you're going to have to manually at the beginning of every month click subscribe with Prime yet again. And also remember, it doesn't have to be your Prime account. It can be anybody's Prime account, whether that's your mother, your father, your brother, your sister, your auntie, your uncle, your grandma, your grandpa, anybody you know with Prime. You link it to your Twitch, you're good to go. But on the flip side, if you're watching over on YouTube, you can help us out over there as well with a super chat or a super sticker donation. Remember, all super chats do get read live on the air. Also, remember to hit that join button down below to become a channel member. As a channel member, you get early access to news, early access to podcast episodes, early access to non-news videos, and so much more. That's a great way to support us and keep us going here. But if you say, yeah, but I don't want to give YouTube any money, hey, you want to support us even more directly, then head over to patreon.com/PW Unlimited. Again, that's patreon.com/PW Unlimited. You go over there, you get all the same perks, but the thing that makes Patreon so much better is A, it more directly supports us, and B, it's all in one condensed area where you don't have to go searching through our community section to go, when's the last members only post? Oh, I can't find it. Well, if you go over to Patreon, it's all there in one area. Fonzie, don't. I'm going to say it right now. Anybody says any spoilers for Doctor Strange, you're banned, no warning. That's your warning. I know people have already seen this movie, but technically it doesn't come out till tomorrow. I don't see it till 3 p.m. tomorrow afternoon Pacific, West Coast time. Anything. You're banned out the chat. If it's not a spoiler, but it could be considered to some people, I'll give you the timed out warning. But if you spoil anything, and this is not just for today, this is for the rest of the week, till Monday. Today, tomorrow if I'm streaming anything on my other channel, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday for the pay-per-view. We don't want spoilers here. It's a big movie coming out. And I'm not just saying this just because I'm not seeing it till tomorrow, because other people may not want to be spoiled in the chat as well. So, no Doctor Strange spoilers, please, or you're gone. Just gonna say it right now, you be gone. Finally, though, head over to the Epic Game Store and buy something, whether that's a brand new game like Sifu, an old game like Grand Theft Auto Online, or you're claiming one of the free games. I'm gonna ask you at checkout, hey, do you have a creator code? You do. It's right here. PW Unlimited. Right here. PW Unlimited. Use that code, and you'll be supporting us here directly. Also, if you're on your PlayStation, your Xbox, your Nintendo Switch, playing Rocket League or Fortnite, you're going to get bucks. You're going to want V-Bucks and all that kind of stuff. Well, you can use the creator code there as well. Also, remember, like I stated, if you're claiming the free games on the Epic Game Store, right now the free games are Paradigm and Just Die Already. They'll ask you for the code as well. Put the code in. That does also support us. But with that, let's jump in. Let's talk about AEW Dynamite. Started off not with CM Punk. Actually, no CM Punk on this show. Unless I missed something, I didn't see Punk at all. Usually the first thing we hear when Rampage opens, we hear one of two things normally, at least for a long time. We either hear Excalibur go, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to AEW Dynamite right here in blah, 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 blah city. Or the show will kick off with the first thing we hear, a point and a point and a point. A point and a point and a point. I don't know the words, but yeah, we didn't hear that at all tonight, which very much surprised me. No CM Punk on the show. No CM Punk on the show. But the first thing we did here was Adam Cole's music, as Adam Cole made his way out to the commentary table. You wanted to watch the next match in person. It was Jeff Hardy and Bobby Fish in, I guess you could say, no, it wasn't. The second to last. I was going to say final, but it wasn't the final. The second to last Owen Hart Foundation qualifier, the tournament qualifier. And it was Jeff Hardy against Bobby Fish. Kyle O'Reilly was at ringside. Matt Hardy was at ringside. Fish took Hardy down early on with a dragon screw before turning his attention to Hardy's midsection. Hardy avoided a slingshot senton, but Fish hit another dragon screw on the floor, sending Hardy into the barricade. Darby Allin and Sting were shown watching ahead of a commercial break. Once back, there was a jawbreaker from Hardy that bought him some time. He was then taken down with high kicks. Hardy came back with strikes and his leg dropped for a 2. He climbed the top turnbuckle, but Fish knocked him down and hit the Avalanche Falcon Arrow for a 2. Hardy kicked right out into a knee bar and had to fight to reach the ropes. Hardy then hit the Whisper in the Wind, climbed the ropes again, crushed, and I mean crushed Fish with the Swanton Bomb, and picked up the victory. Jeff doing that move a lot more stiff, like every week. And I don't know if it's on purpose or not. So after the match, the Young Bucks came out. They exchanged glances with the Hardys. They checked on Fish, and then the Hardys left. Gabriel Perez, no. Julia Hart is not. We'll talk about this later. She is not the next Alexa Bliss. So William Regal video played where he was shown training Wheeler Yuta. He talked about their unique brand of violence. Regal spoke quite fast, and it was difficult to keep up with, but this was very entertaining. Also, they did confirm the news. Wheeler Yuta going to Japan. Wheeler Yuta going to be in the best of the Super Juniors tournament. I think he's going to do phenomenal there. I don't know how far he goes in the tournament since he's a foreigner. Or not that, I take that back. Not just because he's a foreigner, but because he's an AEW guy and not signed to the company. Usually guys not signed that they just bring in for these tournaments don't go, well, I can't say that. Because when Moxley did the G1, he went way far. Like, he did really well. But Wheeler Yuta going to be in the tournament. The best of the Super Juniors 29. Speaking of William Regal, he joined commentary for the 6-man tag that's called the Combat Bullet Club. Whoa, I messed that all up. The Blackpool Combat Club. Take on the Andrade Family Office. It was Bryan Danielson, Jon Moxley, and Wheeler Yuta against the Butcher, the Blade, and Angelico. So the AFO attacked before the bell, and Helico tried a submission on Danielson, who returned fire with mid kicks. Yuta unloaded a flurry of offense on Blade, but was overwhelmed by his opponent ahead of the break. Once back, Yuta dumped Butcher on the back of his head and reached Moxley for the hot tag. Moxley tossed Blade over to the ringside area, over the timekeeper's table, and into the ring steps. Back in the ring, Moxley hit a cutter and bit at the face of the Butcher before taking out Angelico with a lariat. Danielson tagged back in and landed a missile dropkick before kicking Angelico's head in and locking on a triangle stoppage. So the BCC do pick up the victory. In the back, Ricky Starks and Powerhouse Hobbs of Team Taz were backstage and asked about their tag title challenge. Also interesting that we don't see, they keep saying Ricky Starks and Powerhouse Hobbs of Team Taz. I haven't seen them actually with Taz, other than like Ricky and Taz on commentary for Rampage, in a while. I haven't seen, like, Taz went to ringside for one of their matches recently, but usually when they're doing these backstage segments, no Taz. What the hell? Anyways, Jungle Boy, Luchasaurus, and Christian Cage interrupted. Jungle Boy offered to spice things up, asking for a shot for the FTW title. Basically said, you're a guy with the belt that walks around and never defends it. Starks accepted the challenge. The match is set for next week. Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland were also backstage. Swerve said that they had unfinished business with Team Taz. Lee said that they would, quote, swerve in their glory. And I go, oh, I get it, but I don't like it. It's my opinion, though. I mean, maybe other people do like swerve in their glory. I thought it was kind of cheesy, but hey, to each their own. Wardlow then came out with handcuffs accompanied by security and no music. MJF and Shawn Spears then emerged. He insulted the fans and said that he'd watched the match in the back. MJF said that Wardlow should be scared of the man coming out because he's 7 foot tall. He would then introduce William Morrissey. As Morrissey was making his way out to the ring, they did make note that he is a current top star in Impact Wrestling. We had heard that his contract could be expiring soon with Impact, but for them to call him a top star in Impact makes me think that either A, he's staying with Impact, or B, his contract just hasn't expired yet. But it had been reported recently that his contract was coming up. But we did have Wardlow against, well, commentary called him W. Morrissey, and then MJF called him William Morrissey. So Morrissey used some surprisingly agile moves early on to dispatch the big man Wardlow, who's actually smaller than him, and throw him to the outside. Back in the ring, Morrissey continued to dominate. He hit a black hole slam and got a 2 off of it. They jockeyed for position a little bit on the top rope before Wardlow took Morrissey out with an imperfect but thrilling moonsault. Wardlow then hit a single solitary powerbomb and picked up the victory. No symphony. No powerbomb symphony. Just one to the big guy, and that was it. After the match, Wardlow refused the handcuffs and attacked all security. MJF and Spears called in reinforcements, like an absurd amount of reinforcements, and Wardlow took them all out as well, powerbombing one of them out of the ring under the pile of men below. Wardlow then grabbed a mic and said that he wouldn't stop until he gets his hands on MJF or released from his contract. MJF said that Wardlow would have to do another match before that happens. And he gets a couple conditions. He's got a couple conditions. Which will be noted next week when they do the contract signing in Long Island, New York. So next week on Dynamite, there will be a contract signing for Wardlow versus MJF. Most likely, I would say, a Double or Nothing. The contract signing again is next week. And MJF didn't give any indications on what his conditions may be. So far, 4 women have qualified for the Women's Owen Hart Cup tournament. And I go, ooh, ain't the tournament supposed to start next week? Only 4 have qualified. We only know of 1 more qualifying match. So that would make 5. We still got 3 open spots after this. What is it? Is it on Rampage or Dynamite? Let's see. It is on Rampage. Yuka Sakazaki and Riho. It's like there's still going to be, that's 5, 6, 7, 8. They bring in a Joker, that still leaves 2. They bring in 3 Jokers for this women's tournament? I don't know. But in the back, we have Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter. We have Toni Storm and Ruby Soho. And they all talked about their upcoming tag team match this week on Rampage. Tony Schiavone made a big deal that they will be opening Rampage, first match of the show. And it will be the first time in AEW history that a women's match opens a show. First time a women's match is going on first in AEW. They bickered back and forth. They said they're not allowed to touch each other till Rampage, and yeah. Then we had Hangman Page. Cut a very interesting promo here. Good to see the champ back. No more COVID snot. But he's going into this match with Punk seemingly as the heel. The champ was brought out by Schiavone, who asked him about Punk's challenge last week. Page said that it'd be easy to talk about how excited he was to face Punk and how much he'd be looking forward to the match. But that's not going to happen. At Double or Nothing, there's not going to be a handshake or a masturbatory Bret Hart tribute match. Because at Double or Nothing, Page is going to destroy Punk. Page noticed a fan with a CM Punk shirt and said that after the match, he'd be running to the merch stands to get a refund. That Punk's not here tonight, and Page suspects that he's out filming another television show. Page is going to embarrass Punk and give him the fight of his life at Double or Nothing. Page coming off as a freaking almost full-fledged heel here, which is very weird. Very weird. Gabriel says they already have 6 women in the tournament. 6? Who are the other 2? We got Jamie Hayter, Britt Baker, Ruby Soho, Toni Storm. Who are the other 2? Let's see if I can... Let's see. Yes, I don't even know who the other 2 women. Let me know, Gabriel. I only know of the 4. And they're only pushing those 4. Red Velvet, that's right. Thank you, Broken King Slender. Red Velvet qualified. So that's 5. Who's the 6th that you say is already qualified? Says Britt Baker, Toni Storm, Red Velvet, Ruby Soho, Hikaru Shida, Jamie Hayter. Okay, I forgot Shida. There we go. Thank you for correcting me there. But never mind. I got a bad itch right here. Hold on. Give me 1 second, guys. Okay, got it. I forgot about Shida and Red Velvet because, well, they had Red Velvet on the show tonight. Now that I think about it, they did mention that Red Velvet's in the tournament because she said, I'm going to win the tournament. And then Jade goes, yeah, and then we'll have 2 champions in the baddie section. So I'm wrong. I apologize. I forgot. Shows how much that they're really hammering home the other 2. You know what I mean? That's on them for not pushing hard enough that Shida and Red Velvet are also in this tournament. Because it's been for weeks now. These four. So cameras cut to the backstage area. Jay Lethal, Sanjay Dutt, and Satnam Singh. Dutt and Lethal were asked where their red carpet was before Lethal challenged. I'm going to butcher this name. Konosuke Takashita. Konosuke Takashita. To a match on Rampage. Then we had the match that everybody's been talking about. Not for the match, for the entrance. For the graphic on the screen. It was Santana against the Wizard, Chris Jericho. Yes, Chris Jericho now, after throwing the fireball in the face of Eddie Kingston last week, calling himself the Wizard. He's going by the name The Wizard. The frick? The Wizard, Chris Jericho. Okay. Early on in this match, Santana attacked with a dive before the bell, and the two teams brawled on the outside. There was a funny moment where Jericho had the camera, and I mean, not funny. It was funny, but not funny because it's been used too many times with Jericho already. Jericho had the camera. Santana flipped off the camera, and then, yeah. The match finally got going underway after Jericho used the official as protection, and then a distraction allowed Jericho to hit a springboard dropkick and take control, leading into a commercial. Back from the break, a corner bulldog from Santana started a comeback. He followed this up with 3 amigo suplexes, then a frog splash that got a 2. Jericho fought out of a fireman's carry and locked on the walls of Jericho. Santana reached the ropes, and the two men traded chops before a reverse rolling cutter from Santana got a 2. Ortiz stopped Angelo Parker and Daniel Garcia from using Floyd the Bat as Santana dispatched Hager and hit a discus lariat for a 2. A distraction from Matt Menard allowed Jericho to hit a low blow and the Judas effect to pick up the victory. After the match, the JAS continued the beat down on Santana and Ortiz. The announcer said that Eddie Kingston couldn't be here as he's recovering from the fireball in the face. The fireball in the face that now makes Jericho a wizard, because Jericho shoots fire from his hands. Jericho whacked both men with Floyd as the JAS stood tall. So yes, Pwindle, you say you're confused about Jericho going by the wizard. It's because now Jericho is trying to say that he can shoot fire from his hands like a wizard. He can do magic. Samoa Joe addressed Jay Lethal. He said that he was coming for Lethal on Rampage. The Gun Club were backstage, and they approached the Acclaimed with gifts. The gifts were scissors. And then they all celebrated. I don't understand what this meant. I don't know if this was like a Rampage thing or a dark elevation thing. I had no clue whatsoever what this meant. But the Gun Club gave the Acclaimed some scissors. They then celebrated. And I had no clue what was going on here at all. Is this a Rampage thing that I missed? Is this on Dark Elevation? Is this a BTE skit? I don't know. But this was not explained. Nothing was said other than we saw it. They did it. Yeah. I have no clue what this was. At all. At all. And then a segment that just sucked, and the crowd did not care. The Varsity Blondes called out the House of Black. Pillman tried to cut a good promo, but it just didn't work. He tried to get emotional and aggressive, and it just didn't work. Varsity Blondes and Julia Hart were in the ring. Pillman said that he was humbled by his encounter with the House of Black, but now he's watching everything. He's watching everything. Be torn apart little by little. He's reminded of a quote by the best friend of his late father, John Harbaugh. He said, quote, "Attack with all the enthusiasm known to mankind." Now, if you are unaware, John Harbaugh and Brian Pillman were actually roommates in college. Yes, John Harbaugh, the coach of the Baltimore Ravens. Sitting ringside. No, not ringside, but front row for this show. Pillman then said that he wants the House of Black. He started to get emotional, I guess you could say. But that he's feeling enthusiastic and he wants to fight the House of Black. He wants them to come out right now. The lights went out and the House of Black made their entrance. They surrounded the Blondes in the ring as Julia stood in the corner. Garrison and Pillman got beat down. Black then approached Hart, who was shaking. Murphy then brought her in to the center of the ring and gave her a chair. King demanded that she attack Griff with it. After he already gave Griff just a mean cannonball in the corner. Like he cannonballed Griff right in his face. Ooh. So, Julia holds up the chair like she's going to attack. and then she puts it down. Well, she lowers her arms. She raises like she's going to attack, and then she lowers her arms. She couldn't do it. Black snapped, ripped the patch off of her eye, and the death triangle would run out to make the save. House of Black would retreat. I see people going, Julia Hart, the next Alexa Bliss. Okay, but Malachi Black, to me, and maybe I just don't understand the gimmick, is not Bray Wyatt. He does not use magic and stuff like Bray Wyatt. And this is not the same thing as Alexa Bliss at all. Alexa got abducted. Alexa became creepy Alexa Bliss. And I don't know. So many people tonight, Julia Hart's going to be the next Alexa Bliss. They ripped off WWE completely, where they had their Bray Wyatt, still a female, a little blonde girl, and turn her into an evil character. I'm like, no. First off, Julia didn't even attack, so we don't even know what's going to come of it. She put the chair down, so it's like, quit. Quit with this stupid nonsense. It's not the same. It's not comparable. I get the comparisons, but I think it's reaching. I think people are reaching. Trying to say, oh, they stole something else from WWE. They can't think of anything original. No. Also, Magma Lord says, the scissors thing was something from Rampage. Yeah. It beats me, because I don't watch Rampage every week. I'll catch, specific matches on Rampage, but I'm not going to sit and watch the whole Rampage because it's a meaningless show most weeks. Yes, I said it. Rampage most weeks is meaningless. So in the back, Jade Cargill, Mark Sterling, and the baddies, Red Velvet and Kira Hogan, were basically just putting themselves over. Sterling put over the group's accomplishments. Jade said Red Velvet would win the tournament, and then there'd be 2 champs. And then they said something like, because that's what the baddies do, period. And I'm like, oh, that was dumb. But our final qualifier for the men's Owen Hart Foundation tournament, it was Rey Fenix against Dante Martin. Fenix is back, and Fenix is great. Fenix landed a rope run dive early on to take control into a break. During the commercial, Dante came back with a tope suicida. Upon return, Fenix hit an inverted springboard Spanish fly for a 2. Dante returned fire with kicks and a top rope crossbody for 2 of his own before an inverted gut wrench got 2 more. Fenix cradled Dante with a Hurricane Rana and yet another 2 count. He jockeyed for position on the apron, with Fenix eventually popping Dante up in a cutter for a near fall. Dante countered a driver into a cradle before landing a thrust kick. He climbed to the top ropes, but was stopped by Fenix, who went for an inverted Spanish fly again. Both men landed on their feet. Dante hit a Poison Rana and wanted the nosedive, the double jump moonsault, and this was cool. Because the way, I get it, the spot was a little kind of what's the word I'm looking for? You can tell where it was going, like a spotty spot. How do I explain? What am I trying to say? One of those, spots for spot. No. Anyways, I love the way that he does the springboard, but basically the hang time Dante got and the way he flipped, and he was he didn't just flip. He actually went up and then slow-mo almost, the way he rotated himself, and then just landed right on his feet. But the way he came up and once he hit that apex, we're whoa. He basically almost froze time. Donnie Martin's great. Both of these men are great, but Fenix then hit with a Fire Thunder, a kind of Fire Thunder driver, I guess you could say, and picked up the victory. Almost like an inverted brainbuster / Michinoku driver type thing. I can't speak tonight. With that, I'm going to pull this graphic up on the screen as we do have now the brackets. Men's Owen Hart Cup tournament. Brackets are as followed. We do have Ray Fenix versus Kyle O'Reilly. Mojo versus the Joker, mystery opponent we do not yet know. Jeff Hardy versus Darby Allin. And Adam Cole versus Dax Harwood. The right side of the bracket will be taking place next week on Dynamite. So we do have Jeff Hardy and Darby Allin, Adam Cole and Dax Harwood next week. Darby Allin addressed his upcoming match with Jeff Hardy, stating that it would be something special. Sting said that both men will pull out all the stops. Basically said that he said something along the lines like, I can call this a dream match for me, but I'm not going to let it get into my head, or something like that. As far as who the Joker's going to be, I have no clue at all. I do not know who the Joker's going to be. I mean, some people keep saying, well, maybe it's Johnny Gargano. Some people say maybe Cesaro. Maybe you bring in somebody from New Japan. But right now, I have no clue who the Joker's going to be. Then another segment that just was bad. It was actually kind of hard to watch. It was Thunder Rosa and Serena Deeb. Thunder Rosa came out on the stage to a less than impressive reaction. She said that everyone has a story, and she stands in front of everyone as their world champion. Also, how come when you win a title in AEW, you have less matches? She won that title a month ago and has only worked one match for the company. She's worked 3 matches in total, but 2 of those were not for AEW. As far as her being the champion and doing things, she's talked and had 1 match where she defended the title against Nyla. I've noticed that. Once you become a champion, they did it with Britt Baker too. Once you become a champion, you have less matches. She said today, she's La Mera Mera. And I go, okay, maybe. Now, I hope that, I almost don't want to say this, but I hope this doesn't come off wrong. She calls herself La Mera Mera. But what about us people that don't speak Spanish and don't know what that means at all? Because I tried to Google Translate it. And this is what comes up. Now, tell me if this is wrong. But I Google Translate it. Spanish, La Mera Mera. English, the Mir. What does that mean? I have no clue. And as someone that doesn't speak Spanish, I'm like, what? This is confusing. It's like, you're going to have a nickname. You're going to call yourself something, and you're saying it in Spanish, to where most of your audience probably doesn't speak Spanish. Is someone in the chat maybe can clarify this for me? What's La Mera Mera mean? I have no clue. Having a nickname that, Google can't even translate. I don't know. It just doesn't work for me. So she says she'd like to call out somebody that has made her want to be better. Someone that she wants to defend her title against. The number 1 contender, Serena Deeb. Deeb would come out and the crowd just didn't care. The crowd just did not care for this at all. She said that she truly believes that AEW can have the best women's division in the world. But to make that happen, the best wrestler in the world needs to be the champion. Deeb said, and I don't really want to say this, but I'll say it, I'm on another level, in a class all on my own. And it's time that I'm the champion. Or no, she said, it's time I have the championship to show that. She said, a double or nothing, I'm taking your title. I'm going to look something up really fast as far as this translation does go. All right. Let's try this. So you say it means best of the best, la mera mera. But when I go Google Translate best of the best from English to Spanish, it's mejor de lo mejor. So, again, first off, Kenny Williams, you've been banned. So, it's like, what? You're saying it means best of the best. But when I do a Google Translate of the best from English to Spanish, it's the mejor de lo mejor. So, yeah. Maybe it's what it's supposed to mean, but even Google can't figure out what this means. Anyways. Under Serena Deeb basically told her you will have the shortest reign of any woman to ever hold the AEW Women's Championship. We got lineups for the next couple of weeks. Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, and Jamie Hayter on Rampage will take on Toni Storm and Ruby Soho. Also on Rampage, we got Takashita versus Jay Lethal, Hook versus JD Drake, and a women's Owen Hart Foundation qualifier, Riho, making her return after being injured back in January. She will be taking on Yuka Sakazaki. Next week on Dynamite, we do know that the Owen Hart Cup first round will kick off, a quarterfinal match, Darby Allin, Jeff Hardy. Another Owen Hart Cup qualifier, Owen Hart Cup quarterfinal match, Adam Cole versus Dax Harwood. Then got MJF and Wardlow in a contract signing. CM Punk will be back on the show next week, taking on the hometown boy John Silver. And Ricky Starks will defend the FTW title against Jungle Boy. We got 4 matches so far announced, technically, for Double or Nothing. The AEW World title will be on the line when Hangman Page defends against CM Punk. The AEW Women's World Championship will be on the line when Thunder Rosa defends against Serena Deeb. The men's Owen Hart Cup final will be on that show, and the women's Owen Hart Cup final will also be on the show. Wendell says Mera in boss means Mera in Spanish means boss. Gotcha. Huh. Yeah, just a little confusing. There's just someone that knows very little to no Spanish. It's just very confusing. What is it supposed to mean? John Silver addressed his upcoming match next week with CM Punk. He said that they'd be wrestling in his hometown, and he's the meat man. Then we got our main event, and I'm going to be honest. Don't shoot me for this one. I didn't like the match. I thought it was all right at best. I'm going to say it right here. I didn't care for this match. I watched it. I thought it was one of Deonna Purrazzo's lesser matches. I've seen Deonna in great matches. But this one just didn't do it for me. Like, I watched the match and I was like, that was all right at best. It was the undisputed Ring of Honor Women's World Championship. Mercedes Martinez against Deonna Purrazzo. And again, that was one of Deonna's weaker matches. I really do. I get why Mercedes won, because Deonna's not signed to AEW or Ring of Honor. But regardless, who won, the match itself just wasn't all that good. Like, it was, I can't say it was a bad match. Don't get my words twisted. I'm not saying it was a bad match. I'm just saying that the match itself was okay, all right at best. So the match starts off, and commentary is like almost trying to not, like, they're trying to, but they are ripping this match from the go. Because the women are kind of circling each other, and they kind of like lean forward, and then they back off from one another. And I was like, okay. So they're filling each other out. And commentary's like, usually, in a match like this, you just get going at it. But these women, they're just not wanting to do anything. And I'm like, oh, fuck. Eventually, they performed some chain wrestling with Purrazzo, eventually gaining the upper hand. She gained the upper hand as we went into a commercial with 8 minutes left in the show. During the break, Martinez speared Purrazzo on the apron, very lightly, I may add. He traded forearms in the center of the ring until Martinez hit clotheslines and a back suplex and a corner boot for a 2. That spear on the apron was probably the biggest move of the match. Well, that and Purrazzo with her moonsault press. But again, the spear on the apron during the break. Most people ain't paying attention to the picture-in-picture, but regardless. Purrazzo, after the break, came back with the moonsault press for a 2. Martinez escaped a pile driver and hit a running knee, followed by a fisherman's buster for a 2 of her own. Purrazzo hit an exploder suplex for a near fall. They traded cradles until simultaneous clotheslines led to a double down spot. Martinez hit a Samoan driver and a curb stomp before Romero's special into a dragon sleeper, tapping the former champion, the former Reina de Reinas champion, the former Impact Knockouts champion, Deonna Purrazzo. Mad G2 in the chat says, this was a TV match. It was meant to do what it was supposed to do. I mean, I get what you're trying to say, but at the same time, it's like, what this is supposed to be a big, meaningful match to crown the undisputed ROH Women's Champion. Regardless if it's a TV match or not, it's supposed to be a big deal match. And the match itself, for portions of it, was boring. You never want someone to feel like any of your matches are boring, unless that is the goal. Because I've always heard the story. San Jose, 95-96, house show. Mick Foley, Owen Hart. They went out to have a bad match on purpose just to try and have a bad match. They call it the best, worst match of all time. And I doubt that's what these women are trying to do. You never want someone to watch your main event. Your main event. As Mark Henry would say, main event. You never want someone to watch the main event of your product and go, the match is boring and just all right. You never want that. And you can't use the excuse of, it was what it was supposed to be. Then it should not have been the main event. Maybe you should have switched this to the opener and put Jeff Hardy and Bobby Fish or Dante Martin and Ray Fenix in that main event. But regardless, okay. Mad G2 says, but it was a TV match and not a pay-per-view. It wasn't meant to be a big spotlight on Purrazzo for another company. No, it was supposed to be a big spotlight on Martinez for a company that they own, for a company and a title that is associated with them. You're not getting it. I didn't say this was supposed to be a showcase for Deonna Purrazzo. I'm saying it's supposed to be a showcase for the AEW/Ring of Honor Women's Division and Women's Championship. Saying it was just a TV match is just the same thing as saying, all right, next time they do Blood and Guts, phone it in. Fuck it, it's just a TV match. It doesn't need to be a big showcase. It's just a TV match. Screw the next time they do Blood and Guts. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? It's a title match in the main event. It's supposed to be a big deal. It's not supposed to be just another TV match. No. Again, that's like saying some of these big matches, Cody Wardlow in the cage, the Blood and Guts matches, are just a television match. No, you can't use that excuse for this. Now, if it was not the main event, maybe that's a different, you can maybe say that. But it being for the undisputed Women's World Championship and being the main event should have been a whole lot better. I've seen better from both of these women, especially Deonna Purrazzo. And again, I'm not saying it was supposed to be a big, what's the word I'm looking for? Showcase for Deonna, but it's supposed to be a showcase on that title. And that title producing great title matches. Matt says, agree, the main event on TV should have been a big deal, but it wasn't. That's why the way it came off. Exactly what I'm trying to say. Now we're on the same page here. But with that was AEW Dynamite. I felt the show itself was good-ish. Wasn't a great show. I know they've done way better recently, so we'll see if they can produce a better show next week. Next week's show does have a pretty good lineup again. Punk's back. We got Ricky Starks and Jungle Boy, Adam Cole, Dax Harwood, Darby Allin, Jeff Hardy. We got some good potential matches for next week. So we'll see what that all leads to. But with that, I want to say thank you for joining me here. Twitch.tv/PW Unlimited, YouTube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited, and Twitter.com/PW Unlimited. You know what I thought of the show? Now it's time to hear what you guys thought of tonight's Dynamite. Remember, you can put a super chat in the YouTube chat to make sure your comment, question, or concern does not get missed, or send a text message to 510-906-1341. But before we check any of that, check the polls. As far as the Twitch poll does go, 67% liked the show, 33% thought it was just all right. As far as the YouTube poll, go that one. I got it up here. As far as the YouTube poll does go, 76% thought the show, liked the show, 76 liked it. 17% thought it was just all right, and 7% did not like the show. As far as the Twitter poll does go, 43.8% liked it, 43.8% thought it was just all right, and 12.5% did not like tonight's show. As far as the text messages do go, it says, who do you see dethroning Jade Cargill and winning the TBS title? No idea. That's something I can't really predict right now. First, it says, was really proud of Mercedes Martinez being the new undisputed ROH Women's Champion. Who do you think her first challenger for the title will be? That's a tough one because I don't know if they're going to try and go, okay, she's going to defend against somebody in AEW, or if they're going to finally announce like a Ring of Honor roster. So that's something, again, I can't answer because I don't know what the direction for anything Ring of Honor is supposed to be. But, I mean, you say I'm proud of Mercedes Martinez. It's like, we knew Deanna wasn't winning. We knew she was going to win. This person says, how do you think AEW Dynamite did tonight? I mean, I already just talked about that for the last 47 minutes. And this person says, I think Proud and Powerful not getting used well. Bomber LAX. I mean, Proud and Powerful, Santana and Ortiz, they're being used all right. They're being used all right. But with that, guys, I want to say thank you for joining me here. Twitch.tv/PW Unlimited, YouTube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited, and Twitter.com/Pro Wrestling, PW Unlimited. We'll be back Friday morning for the wrestling wrap up. We'll then be back Friday evening for Friday Night SmackDown. Remember, Rampage is actually starting at 5:30 Pacific. 5:30 Eastern, 2:30 Pacific. It's an early ass show because of the NHL playoffs. But with that, remember, Rampage does start early. So with that, guys, have a great rest of your night. Have a great rest of your week. I'll see you next time. Have a good one, guys.